Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be looking at this right here, and this is the Ziigaat Arcanis. Now, we did a whole bunch of them from Ziigaat so far. This one is actually a little older. It's been around a little bit longer. I think it's before the Crescent and before even the Luna. It's one of their older series, so you'll notice that the accessories aren't exactly impressive, and the case is a bit smaller. It's still big. It's still a good size case, but it's like underwhelming. Has this kind of dual pocket thing going on. I can even reach in there and get these with my sausage fingers. So you have foamies that it comes with, and then it comes with the set that it's on it right now. You get 3 different sizes: small, medium, and large. And that's basically it for accessories. Whereas you can see the size difference between the newer generation of cases, and the new ones come with a bunch of different tips. They have their own. They have tips that now that kind of look like soft airs tips. They're like clear and smoke. I like them. I don't know. Some people don't like the stock tips on those. Now these tips are okay. I think that you could do better for this particular in-ear, but I think that they're nice enough tips, but they're kind of like generalized, small kind of bore, not the smallest, but not really a wide bore. Pop them off. They have a nice firmness to them, so they are a good tip. Overall, the design of this is really nice. It is medical grade resin, smooth, extremely comfortable with the stock tips in my ears, and the shape, the nice ergonomic shape of this. And the material, I found them extremely comfortable, and I found the isolation was good. Try to put a tip on not using your eyes. That's a challenge. So very comfortable, really good passive isolation. It seemed to block out a lot of stuff. Cable is okay. It's a decent thickness. Still rather on the thin side, but the Odyssey Hangout that I got recently, the thin green cable, still a nice cable, just a little thinner than I'm used to. I'm more of a guy that likes the thicker cable, like the Punch Audio cable that was like really, really thick. Unfortunately, it only comes in 3.5, but like I said, you can always switch out the cable. I am thinking of speaking of that, putting the Punch Audio cable on this, trying it out, and taking the tips off and trying some different tips. Looking at the design, it is absolutely gorgeous. So I would give it an A when it comes to comfort and looks. Isolation also would give it an A. Accessories, I would give it a C for accessories. Cable itself, I guess, is good, but considering the price, I have to be more critical, so I'd probably give the cable a C as well. Let's get into the specs on this now. This is a $399. That's why I'm being critical with the cable and the tips and the amount of accessories, because this isn't cheap. I mean, I know that there's IMs that go in the 4,000s, but we're not talking about them right now. I think $400 is very expensive for today's crowd. I mean, most people can't afford IMs that are more than $50. So you got to be a little critical. So there are cons on here. Do I like this in-ear? I absolutely love this. This is actually a favorite. It's an added favorite to my list now. I have a lot of favorites now, a lot of new favorites. Time to take some of the old favorites and toss them out. Sound-wise, this is really, really good. I would put this up there with like the Duno Vulcan and everything. That's another really good hybrid. It features, I'm trying to see where the specs went for this. Okay, I found them. Okay, so this is 2 dynamic drivers. You would think that it would be like super bassy, but it isn't. 2 dynamic drivers and 5 balance numbers. So you get 7 each side, 14 in total drivers. A lot of drivers would be putting in this little thing. So there's dual isobaric subwoofers. So the Arcanis uses dual 10 millimeter dynamic drivers. Very interesting. You would think, now the bass on this is really good. I mean, like, super good bass. But it isn't overly bassy. And as a matter of fact, here's a chart as I'm going through the list of the specs. There's your chart right there. It has some really nice bass overall. And beautiful, very well made, very comfortable, very good isolation. There's a nice 3D printed thing here. Would have been nice if they would have given me specs, but I can just pull them off the package. So let's get into the specs, shall we, here. So like we said, 2 dynamic drivers, 5 balanced armatures. It is a 160 decibel sensitivity, 12 ohms impedance, really easy to drive. 0.42% THD, and it is a 0.78 millimeter 2-pin connector on the cable. Silver plated copper, and it is 1.2 meters. And the accessories of what you get is a set of foamies, small, medium, and large silicone of the type I just showed you, the cable, and the unit itself. Beautiful looking. I can't get over the way these look. All of the ones from Ziigaat. I think, like, when it comes to certain companies like Kiwi Ears, Ziigaat, Canara, Queen of Audio, always a really beautiful looking design. Whereas some companies just go like industrial, like KZ. It's a lot of times, I don't think I can ever look at a KZ and it's not like an industrial type. It's beautiful in its own way, but it's like industrial, where these are like art on your ears. So that said, very well crafted, very comfortable. Very good looking, at least in my opinion. Excellent hybrid overall. I think that it has a very nice kind of balanced tuning, especially when it comes to the bass. I mean, you get that nice sub bass. It comes in, it adds some nice warmth to the signature overall. It doesn't muck up the mid-range at all in the least bit. I think that the bass is nice and textured, and it's kind of like a nice, deep, wide bass. Definitely not a bass head. Sorry about that. My voice cracked up for a second. Like, it is that time of year where it is extremely dry and awful outside. So, yeah, nice balanced bass. Very kind of wideish, deep bass impact, but not super powerful or overwhelming. It's there, you can hear it, it's got the rumble, it gets out of the way. I think bass heads would want something deeper and more impactful, but very superb bass clarity and texture here. I think that jazz, classical, acoustic, and vocals, this thing does it all. Really, really good. Even speed metal sounds great with it because it's not an overpowering bass. Getting into the mid-range, very nice. There is some nice, rich kind of warmth at the lower end of it, but not overly so, not overly colored. It's more towards neutral. And then you have a nice lift, just slightly lift, when it comes to the uppers, giving, the female vocals just really nice kind of richness to them. Very well defined. You can pinpoint where the vocals begin and the instruments start. Very nice spacing there going on. This isn't a critical listening. This is more of an enjoyability, but it does have some really good technicals there. Moving into the treble, we find the treble has some air and sparkle, excellent details like, hi-hats and cymbals. They sound natural. They sound very, very good, but it's more smoothed out than anything. I would say it's well balanced there as well. It's not dark and it's not overly bright. It's just enough information to sound really, really good with the music. And like I said, the soundstage is wide, not overly so, but wider than average. Placement, imaging in general is very, very good. And, you get a sense of the space around you and where stuff is coming from with very good accuracy. So that's good as well. I can't complain about anything else with this. So like I said, the accessories, it was the last generation. They've learned from what people wanted, and they've given you more in the newer ones. This one is a little bit older, so I can forgive all that stuff. I'm going to put a different cable on it. I'm going to put different tips on it. The case is fine. The other case is nice and big because I can put a DAP in there. But, this one can probably fit a dongle too, like a smaller dongle. But in a nutshell, it's just nitpicking cable and the tips and everything else. Most people are going to change those anyway, especially with this one not being balanced. You're going to want to put it balanced on. It is a beautiful, superb sounding in-ear monitor, and definitely one of my favorites. Over the 10-minute mark, so I'm going to let you go, but I'm just going to say I really do like this. Thank you again for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.